The gate that locked me out of my land. The sun was dipping low over the Arizona hills, casting long shadows across the winding road that led to my home. I'd just spent a week in Colorado, helping a buddy rebuild his sagging porch, and all I wanted was to kick off my boots, crack a beer, and let the silence of my canyon wrap around me like an old blanket. The road, a narrow stretch of weathered asphalt flanked by junipers and red rock, was mine in every way that mattered, deeded, registered, and built by my father's hands decades ago, when this land was just dust and dreams. So, when I rounded the final bend and saw a gleaming steel gate blocking my path, I nearly choked on my spit. The gate was a smug thing, all polished metal and sharp angles, with a keypad on a post and a sign above that read, "Private Road, Authorized Access Only." My truck idled as I stared, dumbfounded. The canyon walls loomed on either side, no way around, no side paths, just this gate sitting like a bouncer at my front door. I got out, boots crunching on gravel, and tried the keypad. No code, no intercom, no luck, just a red light blinking like it was laughing at me. That road had been mine for 60 years, listed on county records as Harper Access Road. And now some HOA thought they could lock me out? Rage simmered in my gut, the kind that makes your knuckles itch. I ended up hiking 2 miles uphill to my house, lugging my bags, cursing with every step. When I reached the porch, sweating through my shirt, I found an envelope taped to the door, stamped with the logo of Sunset Ridge Homeowners Association. Inside was a letter that read like a bad joke. "Dear Mr. Harper, for the safety and uniformity of our community, Sunset Ridge HOA has installed controlled access to the perimeter road. Residents wishing to use it must register and pay an annual maintenance fee of $2,000. Payment is due within 30 days to avoid restricted access." I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Sunset Ridge, a cookie-cutter subdivision plopped at the base of my canyon 5 years ago, was now claiming my road? I didn't live in their gated utopia. The only reason they even used the road was that it connected to their development. I called the number listed. A woman answered, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "This is Linda Monroe, Sunset Ridge HOA president. How can I assist you?" "This is Jack Harper," I said, barely keeping my tone civil. "You've put a gate on my property." A pause, then, "Oh, you must mean our new security measure, Mr. Harper. Residents have raised concerns about unauthorized vehicles. It's about community safety." "Safety?" I snapped. "That road's mine. You can't lock me out of my land." "With respect," she said, her voice now thick with condescension, "if you use shared infrastructure, you should contribute to its upkeep. Safety isn't free." "My infrastructure," I growled. "Built by my family in the 60s. "I'm sorry you feel that way," she chirped. "The fee is due by the end of the month." I hung up before I said something I'd regret. That night, I called the sheriff's office. A young deputy showed up, took one look at the gate, and shrugged. "Sounds like a civil matter, sir. You'll need to take it to court." He drove off, leaving me under the desert stars, staring at that gate like it was a personal insult. They thought they'd cornered me. They had no idea who they were messing with. The next morning, I was at the county recorder's office by 8 a.m., slamming my ID on the counter and demanding every document tied to my land deeds, plat maps, and easement records from when my dad surveyed the canyon with nothing but a mule and a prayer. The clerk handed me a stack thick enough to choke a lawyer. By noon, I had a binder proving that the road was mine, scanned and copied 4 times. One for home, one for my truck, one for a safe deposit box, and one for Linda Monroe's desk. I called Sarah Torres, a property rights attorney and the daughter of an old Army friend. She picked up on the first ring. "Jack, what's the crisis?" "HOA put a gate on my road. Locked me out. Want to help me raise hell?" She laughed. "Email me everything. I'll have a draft ready by tomorrow." While Sarah worked, I got tactical. I hiked to the gate with a duffel bag, trail cams, binoculars, and some camo netting. I set up 2 cameras in the junipers, one aimed at the keypad, another to catch faces and plates. Anyone messing with that gate would star in my personal evidence reel. Back home, I drafted a letter, cold and factual, enclosing copies of the deed and plat map. I sent it to the HOA via courier, return receipt requested. Let them try to play dumb now. Their reply came 2 days later, a fancy envelope reeking of arrogance. "Mr. Harper, your documents are noted, but insufficient. Sunset Ridge HOA maintains authority over infrastructure impacting community safety. Access remains contingent on compliance. Insufficient? My deed. I was grinding my teeth when I saw the last page. A safety report claiming I'd stored illegal chemicals, created fire hazards, and was seen patrolling with rifles. Pure lies, written in bureaucratic slime. Then the drone started. One buzzed over my property at dusk, its red light blinking like a spy. Another came the next night. I knew who was watching. The HOA wasn't just stonewalling, they were escalating. Sarah sent a cease and desist letter, sharp enough to cut steel. I delivered it myself to their stucco office in town, handing it to the receptionist with a grin that didn't touch my eyes. Tell Linda it's just the beginning. It got uglier. A knock at my door brought 3 county officials: fire inspector, erosion control, and some environmental lackey claiming routine inspections based on community complaints. They poked around, took photos of my woodpile, and sniffed my gas can like it was a bomb. They left with vague promises of recommendations. By week's end, I'd had 6 agencies at my door, including a kid from the agricultural office wanting to test my soil. I told him to test my patience instead. I started a log. Dates, names, badge numbers. Sarah called it coordinated harassment, maybe even a civil conspiracy. Then, at the gas station, a guy in a tracksuit leaned on my pump. "You, Jack Harper?" I nodded. "Drop this HOA thing. You're stirring up trouble." I stared. "You threatening me?" He shrugged. "Some folks don't like noise in a quiet town." He drove off in a black SUV. I wrote down his plate. Online, it was a circus. Sunset Ridge's Facebook group exploded with lies. I was stockpiling weapons, running drugs, even training a militia. Someone posted a grainy photo of me at a range from years ago, captioned, "Armed threat to our families." Neighbors I'd nodded to at the feed store chimed in with concerned comments. It stung, but I didn't flinch. I archived every post, every lie. The cameras were my ace. 3 days after the last inspection, I checked the footage. There was Linda Monroe and 2 HOA board members, blocking the road in broad daylight. They dragged a sawhorse across and laid tire spikes as my plumber's truck approached. Linda marched to his window, barking, "This is HOA property. No code, no entry." When he argued, they threatened to call the sheriff for trespassing with intent. They stood there until he backed down the hill. I watched it 3 times, poured a whiskey, and knew it was time to end this. Sarah filed the lawsuit the next day, hitting them with everything: unlawful interference, defamation, conspiracy, trespassing, and cadastral manipulation. The kicker? The HOA had moved their fence 7 feet onto my land, making the road look like theirs. We had drone shots, satellite images, and old surveys proving it. Sarah grinned when I handed her the evidence. "They're done." I sent one final letter to every HOA board member. "Remove the gate or face personal liability." No response. So we filed. At the hardware store, I saw a flyer with my face, captioned, "Dangerous landowner threatens community." I folded it into my glove box. Let them scream. I had the truth. The courtroom smelled like old books and bad choices. I sat at the plaintiff's table, tie choking me, watching Linda Monroe stride in with a legal team that looked like they charged by the syllable. Her navy suit and fake smile screamed confidence. Sarah whispered, "They're overcompensating. Watch them crumble." Sarah laid out the facts: deeds, maps, videos of Linda's blockade, and the fence shift. The surveyor testified it was deliberate. Linda's lawyer sputtered about aesthetic alignment and ambiguous boundaries. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 70s, raised an eyebrow. "You're saying they build a gate on land they don't own for aesthetics?" The lawyer wilted. Linda's testimony was a disaster. Sarah pulled an email where Linda wrote, "It's his land, but if we gate it, the road will look like ours." The room went silent. Linda paled. Her lawyer hid behind a binder. Sarah's closing was brutal. "This isn't a dispute. It's theft, harassment, and a lie dressed up as community values." The judge ruled fast. Remove the gate and fence, pay $300,000 in damages, retract all complaints, and refer Linda for criminal investigation. Linda's face cracked, a quiet implosion. I walked out without looking back. The fallout was swift. The county launched an inquiry into Sunset Ridge's HOA. Residents came forward with stories of Linda's overreach fines for wrong, paint colors, secret rule changes. The news ran a segment. HOA locks veteran out of his land. Linda vanished, and her house sold quietly. The HOA board sent a mealy-mouthed email, distancing itself from her. I hired a crew to tear down the gate. Watching that steel hit the dirt felt better than Christmas. I kept a piece behind my shed, labeled Linda's Folly. For kicks, I bought a small lot next to Sunset Ridge too rocky for houses, perfect for me. I cleared a spot, added a grill, and called it Liberty Hollow. My army buddies came every weekend. We ate burgers, swapped stories, and laughed under the stars. Neighbors started showing up too, freed from the HOA's grip. One day, a shaky letter arrived. Thank you for fighting. We couldn't, but now we're free. I framed it. Linda got 2 years probation, a $70,000 fine, and a ban from HOA rolls. At our 4th of July barbecue, she appeared, looking worn. You were right, she said. I nodded. Took you long enough. I offered her a burger. She smiled faintly. Maybe next time. She left, and I let it go. I built a new gate, black, silent, with a sign. Private property, trespassers prosecuted. Liberty Hollow thrives, a place of laughter and cold beer. The canyon's quiet again, the line drawn clear. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you faced injustice or abuse of power? Where do you stand on standing up versus letting it go? Let's hear your voice.